and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Mansky, and I'm here today with
Justin DeClue
and Colin Cunningham.
And this week, we had a dinosaur theme. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? When I was a little girl, I was a huge dino fan.
Same. I think probably Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And
that was
when
it.
we were a kid, it was like, oh my God, I love dinosaurs so much.
I think it's just ingrained in your DNA when you're a kid that you just have to love dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's frog DNA. Nature will find a way.
That's how you fill the gap in your DNA with the frog.
Dinos.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you used to go to the Royal Ontario Museum. They have that here in Toronto.
That's
and
true. When you see a big dinosaur skeleton or a replica of one, so
Yeah.
it's just like, whoa.
Ugh.
It's incredible.
Man, my life was shattered when I learned those weren't real dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
There's only like 2 of them in there.
You know what I used to love at the museums? Like they used to have this little nook where they had this giant squid. It was like, actual size of what the squid was like. And then they had kind of like these caustic lights like shooting up. So it looked like it was underwater and it was all spooky. And I used to be terrified.
And then its tentacle would come out and be like, Colin, join me with the old ones. No, I think probably as a kid you love dinosaurs as well because the idea that they can kill people and grab them in their teeth and eat them up.
Yeah, they're cool.
That's probably pretty much what it is, especially for young boys.
Yeah. And the fact that like they were a real thing that existed, I mean, that's cool. It's like this mythical creature, but it was real.
Yeah, but now they have feathers.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Hey, have you ever seen a bird without its feathers? It looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah,
Does
that's
it?
right.
Yeah.
So really the dinosaurs are just bald.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
bird
Wait,
things.
well, we make like roast chicken from time to time.
Yeah,
they don't look like dinosaurs.
No, I'm talking more like a barn owl or like something like that.
Listen, April used
Or
to
a
live in the
hawk.
country, and by that I mean Oshawa, and she used to like just pluck all the feathers off the barn owl, and she'd be like, "You a dino now."
Look at
And
me,
then
I've
she'd
got a
eat
pet
it.
dinosaur. That was delicious owl.
So on that note, owls, we watched Future Wars.
Future War.
Future War. Now there's a lot
I
of
keep saying Future Wars.
Yeah.
It sounds like a very familiar title.
Yes.
there's no war in this
Tech
movie.
War.
Yeah, it's a very convoluted story that starts with an opening crawl, but basically in the future, there are cyborgs who go to the past to steal humans and then make them their slaves, and to keep them in line, they have dinosaurs.
Yeah, they have teams of dinosaurs.
So I guess they went
Robots.
to the
Are they
no,
robot
no,
dinosaurs?
No, the dinosaurs are real, but
they
have
explode.
They have,
Well, they have explosive neck
exploding
collars.
claws. So I guess they went to prehistoric times and got dinosaurs too and trained them like dogs.
Why not just build robots?
I don't know.
They
but
are robots.
if they're cyborgs, so why do they need... You know what? It's like...
cyborgs can be bored too. Let's not be what would it be? Humanist, I guess, or robotist?
Well, they use the dinosaurs as trackers to hunt down humans or like renegade humans that have escaped from their slave ship or something like that. I don't know.
We don't see any of this. The opening of this, there's a crawl, and then with a bunch of shots of just like doors opening and closing, and then like a spaceship.
Wait, did your version not have like a flash forward at the
Yeah.
beginning?
No, it
where they're just
opens-
walking
yeah.
through hallways, and you're
Yes.
like, wait, what's going on?
I meant after that.
Because I have to admit that I watched the MST3K version. Have you guys ever seen that? Did you ever see that one, Colin?
I don't watch Mr.
Oh, you guys
Science
aren't
either.
MST3K heads?
No.
I'm shocked,
No.
considering you guys are such bad movie heads.
I can't get through them.
Really?
Well, I remember I hung out with Justin and his friends, and you watched the Space Mutiny one, and I laughed a lot.
Yeah, because I was never an MST3K person
Yeah.
as a kid either, because I thought it's mean-spirited. And only because my friends liked it have I seen maybe a dozen or so episodes, and they're pretty funny. I still don't like the people that do it, especially the host segments.
It's not
I
really
don't-
for me,
No.
but I understand why people like
Yes.
it.
I've tried. I've given it like 3 or 4 tries. I just can't get into it. The jokes it's just like dad jokes.
Yeah, but Mike Nelson era, that's the one that you have to watch. He's the
okay.
funny one, but he's also the Mormon and has terrible taste.
Oh, okay.
Well, like they used to have like riff
Terrible
tracks.
taste in religion.
Riff
Yeah,
tracks
riff
is like the new,
tracks.
so they used to have like compilation videos on YouTube of just the best jokes, and I used to watch those and think those are really funny because you're not sitting through a whole movie.
Right.
There's a really funny episode about a Canadian film called The Final Sacrifice. With you got to see it. It's really funny. I mean, Listen, the problem with that show is that it creates a whole generation of people who think they're superior to all the material that they watch. And you're listening to a bad movie podcast, so let's continue with our episode.
And we're not doing a live commentary.
There's no
but
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do a whole episode just on the topic of MSD3K and
Or
whether
you
it's
could-
good or bad
you
for
could listen
society.
to an episode of the Important Cinema Club about that exact topic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did a whole episode on
I
it.
remember that. Okay, so Future War.
Yep.
The great thing about this movie...
I'm going to talk about all my favorite MST3K jokes.
So it has dinosaurs, but it also has cyborgs. So it's kind of this like Terminator / Jurassic Park
It's very Terminator-like.
Yeah.
And also Jean-Claude Van Damme, because
Yes.
it stars Daniel Bernhardt, who would go on to take the Jean-Claude Van Damme mantle in the Bloodsport sequels.
Oh, okay. And also, I forgot he was in the Matrix sequels.
Yep, he played one of the agents. He works with the... is it 8711 stunt team, the two directors who made the John Wick films. So he fights John Wick in the first movie. He's like the main guy. He fights him a bunch of times. And he also in Atomic Blonde and that long take sequence, he fights him.
And he's in Logan, but he's the agent at the very beginning of the second Matrix.
Yes.
Where Neo comes.
It's that dance fight.
He does kind of like swirly fight with Neo, and Neo goes like, upgrades.
Yeah, and then he like knocks him into the light and the light falls.
And I think he fights Morpheus maybe later on in the movie. I don't know if that's him.
On the highway with the swords.
The truck. But he's very competent. He's a really good fighter. Not shown off in this movie.
No, this is very early on in his career.
He's kicking like really high.
But not in the fights.
No. Only when he's
Kind
up
of.
against the dinos.
Yeah, that's
I mean, we
right.
should talk about the real star and my favorite thing about this movie. The empty boxes.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Oh,
boxes.
the cardboard box budget on this
they
movie.
should just be like second build. It should be like the dinosaurs, cardboard boxes.
This was so funny. I was just telling you guys, we watched the end credits. The credit is Box Wrangler. And the person is Cliff Bernhardt. So I don't know if they're related to Daniel Bernhardt.
It's the brother or the dad.
It's like, hey,
maybe this was like a family
cousin.
affair kind of film. Yeah, a cousin. Like the cousin nobody likes.
it's like,
I
I can
can't
get
be
you.
a coincidence.
I got you a
It's a
job.
little simple.
I got you a job on my new movie. It's like, oh man, thanks. What is it?
Box Wrangler.
Putting together hundreds of boxes.
Thousands of boxes.
Listen, we only have the budget for 100, so if we crush them, you got to put them back together.
And what they do is like they basically create like hallways with them. So they obviously had a warehouse, and then they just have like a box maze, and then they add like a crashing sound effect when they hit them, so they seem heavier.
At what point did like the public wake up and be like, wait, no, empty boxes aren't production value?
Well, they were doing it for a long time.
Yeah,
for
this
a
whole
long
movie,
time.
they did a whole movie with it. But I love the fact that even when they go into the freezer area, quote unquote, I'm
Still
making
boxes.
quotes, it's still boxes, but then it's like they some of them are spray painted white along the edges, and then they have like in like Sharpie marker it says "keep cold," and then raw meat.
Raw meat.
That's storytelling. So we
And
should-
then, sorry, Daniel Bernhardt is like rubbing his arms to show that he's cold.
It's called acting. So Daniel Bernhardt in this film is a caveman that it comes to the present, is scared by a homeless man in one of the most hilarious screams ever committed to film. He sees a homeless man with a beer and he's like, "Ah!" And unfortunately, the old man does see a dinosaur and he doesn't do the classic, like, look at the bottle and shake it. He just
Yeah.
gets killed by that
Oh,
dinosaur.
he like rub his eyes. Like,
Dinosaur just bites him and he cut
It's
away.
the cutest little dinosaur. It's
Yeah.
like it reminded me of Yoshi from Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, these are very stiff dinosaurs. They're all toys.
Yeah,
A lot
like-
of forced perspective.
Yeah, you can't tell how big they are because they keep putting them big in the frame to make them look big. But the one that attacked the homeless man just looked like a little baby.
It's a little
there's
tiny.
a
Yeah,
tiny
because it
little
attacks
thing.
Daniel Bernhardt and there's a puppet and he's like,
Yeah.
It eats the homeless guy's beard at the end of that scene.
Probably wasn't a real beard.
yeah, you couldn't have the mechanics touching that or it would burst into flames.
Yeah.
Sick of the alcohol content. So Daniel Bernhardt meets up with a nun, soon to be nun.
Nun in training.
Nun in training
who used
and-
to be a prostitute, and she lives in a group home. And
Of very large men.
yeah, she gets it. There's a whole like huge backstory with her, and I actually liked her character development.
Her friend died.
And she feels responsible for it
Well, 'cause
because she
she's-
overdosed on drugs that she gave her.
Yeah.
So she's going to go in the nunnery? That's really bad.
I
Turn her
don't
life
know.
around.
no.
hey, everyone deserves a chance at, you know.
Yeah, but don't become a nun. Have you seen Sister Act? What a hellhole it is.
I actually haven't, which is insane.
Nuns on the Run.
Oh,
wait, you haven't
classic.
seen Sister Act?
I know, and I
was
love
like a
Whoopi
staple.
Goldberg.
I haven't seen Sister Act.
I think maybe I caught a little bit of it on TV. But
Well,
huge
Sister
hit.
Act 1 and 2 coming soon to the No Such Thing as a Bad Movie
back in the
podcast.
habit.
Double whammy.
And the Austin Powers of its day.
Oh, God.
So the film essentially boils down to a bunch of chase scenes where they'll be in a room, and then the puppet dinosaur will come crashing through a wall, and they're going to be like, and run away.
And Daniel Bernhardt will be like trying to fight it, which he kind of can't. Like I think he punches it at one point.
Yeah, he kicks
and then the girl puts like a coat on its head at one point, and then no, he's like, I have to stab it like at this certain spot in its neck has something to do with the collar.
Probably its neck. They have
keep,
explosive
like-
collars on it.
Yeah, when a dinosaur dies, and it's really funny when it does, it just kind of like keels over like you hit a toy. It just blows up.
I thought you were going to say, like, every time a dinosaur dies, an angel gets its wing.
I'm doing like a Jimmy Stewart impersonation. Everybody knows when a dinosaur dies, Mario gets a life.
Oh yeah, because he can jump really high.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, but they're in a house at one point, and then the dinosaur bursts in, and
They abandon the child.
It's clearly a dollhouse. That they have. This dinosaur is just a hand puppet.
No, a dinosaur knocks a guy, and they switch to like a doll.
It's like a stuffed doll.
Yeah, because the dinosaur is small, but they kind of do it fast enough that they think you can get away with it.
I rewound it. I'm like, wait, was that a doll?
It's
And I rewound
clearly
it.
a doll.
I get a lot of value out of puppet dinosaur heads coming into frame.
Yeah.
Never ceases to bring a smile to my face.
It's just like 2 movies in a row that we had it.
I wish the movie was a little bit more fun. Like a bunch of stuff happens, but it's like a lot of the same stuff.
It's a lot of It's a lot of them kind of walking and talking on the streets of LA, wearing plaid.
Yeah, the nun, Daniel Bernhardt, and
Yeah.
her large friends.
Yeah, there's like these 2 guys that I guess work in the. Is it a halfway house? Or
It's a
something?
halfway house.
And then she has to call in the gang. There's a gang that she used to know back when she was a prostitute, and they're all wearing plaid too. And they have all these like meetings to discuss how they're going to destroy the dinosaurs, and they're like they have styrofoam cups and like a bottle of pop like in the middle. Yeah, they have. It's so PG.
So many meetings. Yeah, they're like they have like a 2 liter.
Listen, they're a socialist organization, and it's
Yeah.
the entirety of the group that needs to make these decisions.
It's
Yeah.
like they have the 2 liter bottle of Coke, and they have like notepads, and they're taking notes. It's like they're so organized.
And all they do is like stab the dinosaurs with toothpicks, which makes them fall
They're
over.
kind of like dowels. Like you can tell Daniel Bernhardt like hits.
it looks
hits
like the
me-
dinosaurs at an open mic. It's
Yeah.
like, hey! Listen, it's the audience that's bad, not my material. I'm prehistoric.
Well, we got to talk about one of the cyborgs, the first cyborg that
yeah.
Daniel Bernhardt fights. And it's like in a very extended fight scene in a box factory, I guess.
Box factory. Ooh, can we see the top of the boxes? No, that happens in another factory.
This guy has the biggest mullet I have ever seen.
So big. I mean,
It's-
it must be. It's like Samson-like, like the key to his power.
It's so curly and long.
Was that guy anybody like that actor?
He had a single name in the end credits.
Oh right.
And
Maybe
then he
he's a
also
wrestler or
played
something.
Robert Zadar's stunt double in the movie.
Oh right.
Wait, Robert Zadar doesn't do all his own stunts? That's what he made his bones on.
So for this
Yeah,
movie,
his jawbone.
the director, they got Robert Zadar and they got his stunt double, and so they're like, let's just have them be 2 different characters. Or
They-
maybe it was supposed to be Robert Zadar the whole time.
It's
because
possible.
Notice how Robert Zadar is in like the very end of the movie.
yeah, I was like, where is he?
And then I read
Was he
online,
busy?
like, he's killed in like not like 5 minutes, not even, and then he comes back at the end. But that was a reshot ending, I heard.
Because people are like, we need more Zadar.
Yeah, he's in it, and
Maybe they added Zadar after the movie was completed.
it's possible.
Well, what I read was they had a different ending where the nun doesn't become a nun,
Yeah.
but then people complained. They were like, "It's
She
a
goes
bad,
back
it's
to
a
being a
bad mess.
prostitute.
It's a bad message. So you need to make it so she's becoming
No,
a nun."
I would think that the nun thing is a reactionary decision
It
she
totally
makes
is.
because of the things that she did.
It just feels guilty.
It's a-
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the guilt will eat her away at her as a nun, and it'll just be worse than it would be if
It's-
she's been dealt with her feelings.
It's like people on death row when they become religious.
It's
like,
so
"Ooh,
funny
I'm so
though. Like
guilty."
they're in this church which by the way is just a room with like
Probably a box factory.
plastic
I bet
cubes.
you it was all shot in the same
And
factory.
Robert Zadar comes crashing in. Was it the ceiling?
I think it's the ceiling,
It's
yeah.
like, do you accept the Lord? And then Robert Zadar just crashes down.
That's because Robert Zadar is God.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like the priest that's I don't know, making her a nun. He
Turned
looks like
into a dinosaur.
He looks like Patton Oswalt.
He looks like Steve Zahn. Does anyone remember Steve Zahn?
Do you remember? It sounds like he died.
but there's a
He's in
scene
a bunch
Steve
of
Zahn is a
movies
great
in the
actor.
90s.
How
So-
dare you?
after
That Bigfoot movie.
Daniel Bernhardt defeats the bemulleted guy, I guess, in the box factory. And then, speaking of the Terminator, there's a scene where they go into the, I think it's Robert Zadar goes into the police station and kills everybody. So it's like you know that what they're trying to do is the scene from Terminator.
Yes.
And they have absolutely no budget.
No, very half-assed. It's no Lady Terminator, which has an amazing.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't. I was thinking of Lady. I almost mentioned that because I was like, could they do the same thing except they actually have a police station.
Yeah, they have no budget.
It's not even,
Yeah.
Robert Zadar did that in Maniac Cop 2. There's a whole, he goes into,
Really?
and it's really
cool.
good too, like filled with crazy stunts.
Yeah, this is not so much.
No. I mean, it doesn't have the Lady Terminator, my favorite joke where the Lady Terminator is going around massacring all the police officers. Then it cuts to a guy that like answers the phone. He's like,
Yeah.
hello? And then the Lady Terminator shoots him.
Yeah. That's a good. We should watch that for the podcast.
Yeah, this whole police station, all the walls are made out of styrofoam and not
Probably
like
cardboard.
no. At one point, he's punching through them, and it busts into like the little tiny pebbles. Like it's styrofoam. It's
He
cheap
actually
styrofoam.
punched through the wall.
Oh yeah,
That wasn't a real wall.
No.
They
No,
couldn't
I-
afford a
You
wall.
just assume Robert Zadar was that
they
strong.
could not afford a real wall or much of anything else in this movie.
But I think that might be my favorite thing is that like every set, it's always just a house, like it's just someone's house.
Yeah.
And like the police station, there's just like a dirty couch just up against the
Yeah.
wall,
It's
and
like-
then the church, they just have a big wooden cross.
Yeah.
And like that's it.
You know what they needed was like a little painting of Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, they had a statue that Robert Zadar shoots and it blows up.
Yes. Yeah. See, that was like fun. That whole
That's
and, like,
production value.
He's like
Yeah.
picking up the pews and throwing them, and I was like, "There's no way those are real wooden pews.
All cardboard.
They would have had to be cardboard or plastic or something."
Yeah, you can tell it's probably all shot in the same warehouse. And it's just like, what do we have? There's some old couch that the last production left, but in the police station.
Yeah,
A man died on that couch.
it had a charm to it, though. Like I really enjoyed the tone of the movie, which is like we're trying. Oh, speaking of things that are cheap, remember the newscaster with the camcorder?
Oh, God,
which
yes!
was just a brown box with electrical tape.
It's like a brown shoebox. It's
Yeah,
literally...
we don't let him film. We just give it to him, and he can pretend that he's a newscaster.
It looks like a suitcase or something.
He's not
and it's
bothering
like,
anyone.
It's covered in tape. But it was like
He's mad if he doesn't have that box.
It's like a little mini suitcase.
there's a certain chart, and then
It's
there's
the future. Come on, April. That's what cameras look like.
There's one scene where Daniel Bernhardt's in jail. He gets arrested at one point, and so they don't show a wide shot of the cell. So basically, it's just him standing, and then they have these wooden dowels in front of him that they
That's
spray painted
classic.
black.
I mean, at least they had dowels. They could have just had like the light of bars on his face.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
You're
that's
painting
even-
with light.
That's a great scene because like he's like, doing the classic like, oh, I'm powering up, I'm getting angry. But what he keeps flashing back to are the dinosaurs.
He's angry about the dinos.
He's
I guess.
really angry about the dinosaurs.
But then he gets angry and he tries to he's slamming on the bars, but he can't hit the bars because he'll break them. So he's like about 6 inches from them going,
that's a true martial arts master. What's your
So
favorite part, Colin?
Would it have to be the dinosaurs?
the dinosaurs,
I mean,
like, they're so
you're
great.
like a Jurassic Park super fan. What is the?
am I?
How did the? Yes, he is.
Oh man, when I think of Colin, I think Colin, Jurassic, Cunningham.
How do these dinosaurs stack up to the ones in Jurassic Park?
Well, I don't know. They're,
Well, none of them are CGI.
Yeah,
you
they're-
can't tell that.
they're practical. They're I don't know. They're definitely more charming, I should say.
I think they're kind of well made,
They're
right? Compared to the next movie we're going to talk about.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Hold on.
So, yeah, let's,
April's throwing the gauntlet down.
let's rewind a second here. The dinosaurs, they're really funny, and the first time you see them, they're great. There's something very charming about the movie. I know, I wish that the fight scenes would have been better, and they would have.
I wish it was a little gorier.
Yeah,
that would have made
not
it more
gory,
fun.
really.
Yeah, there's
But
no
even
gore.
just the editing and the fight scenes, it wasn't very interesting. And it's obviously Daniel Bernhardt can do some amazing things, and he's just really not given the chance. And the movie isn't shot or edited in a way that kind of shows him
stylish.
off.
It's not really
No.
Like, it's not fun in a way where you could feel the directors being like, this is fun.
Yeah.
It's like, just do it. Hurry, quick. We just got to get out of here.
But
Box Man's coming.
It he's going to take back all these boxes.
We got to get these back to the box warehouse.
And they're clearly empty.
Yeah, they're like, just blow them off.
Just
They
blow
can't
them
be dirty.
They're fine.
Oh, we got to pull
I'm moving.
I got to pull the packing tape off, but it's ripping the cardboard. Oh, we're going to have to pay for these. This is coming out of the craft service budget.
Craft service. Robert Zadar is in the back making Pop-Tarts.
But I kind of like, there is something, it's one of these things where it's like they clearly have no money, but they just decide to make it anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's make a sci-fi movie with dinosaurs.
The film was made in 1994, but wasn't released till 1997.
probably all the effects.
It didn't help its
Yeah.
perception, I'm sure, at the
It
time.
just sat on a shelf. I read an interview that like the producers, while they were shooting it, were like, "Man, maybe we'll get it on MST3K."
Yeah.
It sat in a cardboard box on a shelf.
Yeah, they gave it to the box man who came and got his boxes.
They used all the
no, you gave them as collateral.
No, they used
Broke the boxes.
They used all the cardboard boxes at the end to hold all the unsold DVDs.
But it could be like an advertisement for this box factory. Like,
What would it be advertising though? Just that they have a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Look at the quality.
no, like, look at what you can do with a box. You can create a hallway. You can create a freezer. You can stack them up while a dinosaur comes in the door.
Why does this one say raw meat on it?
Yeah.
In Sharpie. Ooh, this one's spray painted white.
You used a permanent Sharpie, you fool.
No.
We need to return these boxes.
Sharpie the whole thing.
Okay, so that's how they get them. They just Sharpie the box black. It was like that when we got it. All right, so the second movie that we watched.
Wait, you guys didn't say your favorite thing.
Yeah, we all
both did.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, you must have been dino crazy while we were talking.
We already did.
Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to this podcast
Colin
again.
is laughing so hard, he's just giving himself an ab workout.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to cut a hole in my shirt soon.
Yes. That's a reference to our Patreon episode this week, so check it out.
But yeah, so the second movie we watched was called Tammy and the T-Rex.
Oh, man.
Which is a really crazy movie. Now, the reason that we wanted to watch this was because it came out, in the 90s. It's known to some people who know bad movies, but it always seemed like something was missing.
There was like a secret ingredient in it that, what? Is it out there? And it is. And that secret ingredient was horrifying violence.
Yeah, explicit gore.
Super gore. So recently it was found that the Italian version of the movie had these scenes intact and somebody cut them together into the movie.
Yeah, so it was like a fan-edited version of the film, and that's what we watched. And I should note, even before we start talking about the movie, that there is a restoration that was made and will be released on Blu-ray soon. I think probably this fall in like pristine quality.
Yeah, I've seen ads for it. There's like a trailer out for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't do what we did and watch an illegal copy. Buy the official release.
Yeah. So this film is directed by the guy who did Mac and Me and Mannequin, films that are known for their tonal inconsistency.
And
Yes.
and Ice Pirates.
And Ice
Don't
Pirates.
forget, I saw Ice
Ice
Pirates in the
Pirates?
theater.
Ice Pirates is bad.
What is it?
It's a terrible comedy movie from the 80s.
It has one good joke that when you explain it to people, it sounds amazing, which is that the climax of the film, time starts speeding up. So like a kid is born and then he turns into like a teenager and then an adult in the same fight scene.
Oh,
But the way that it's executed is not
terrible.
that funny. Yeah.
Oh.
But speaking of good execution, Tammy and the T-Rex. The story is Denise Richards is in love with Paul Walker.
a very young baby Paul
baby
Walker.
Baby Paul Walker.
He looks like April said. He looks so young that he's almost unrecognizable as Paul Walker.
But the problem is that Denise Richards has a crazy ex-boyfriend.
Yeah,
who
psychotic.
Will hurt anyone that gets close to Denise Richards. So that crazy ex-boyfriend takes Paul Walker to the zoo where he is mauled by lions.
And at the same time, there's a crazy scientist
Yes.
who is creating a robot dinosaur.
For some reason. I'm sure it's
That's
sad we
never-
missed it.
I don't know.
I mean,
Says he's got investors.
he wants to fuck that dinosaur.
Yeah,
that's what he wants to do.
He keeps saying the investors.
But
It's
him
really
and his
him.
like dominatrix girlfriend are like very sexual.
Helga.
So yeah, they're probably just like kinky swingers who are into dinosaurs.
He just happened to make a gigantic robot dinosaur.
We talked about how we were into dinosaurs when we were kids. You know, when you get older,
They took it too far.
yeah, they took it too far. I mean, it's not too far. As long as the dinosaur consents to the relationship, you're fine. Maybe that's why they had to put the brain in it. They're like, we want the dinosaur to agree
to like sign a legal document saying it consents.
I've heard that there's a thing called pterodactyl porn.
It's what is it? Rule, what is the rule? April, you would know this.
Rule 43.
Yeah, where
there's like porn for
if you can
everything.
think of a porn concept, it's out there.
Yeah.
There's guaranteed. Like you could probably find like specific like Land Before Time pornography.
Oh my god!
Which
Pterodactyl
blame Ralph the movie maker. He's the one who brought that up.
Pterodactyl porn.
Ralph
Yeah,
the
I'm
movie
not-
maker.
yeah,
You
he's
say
a-
that like
he's-
I should know who it is. Is he
YouTuber.
related to Wreck-It Ralph?
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. He's a cartoon. But
like-
he's just a YouTuber that we follow.
Okay.
But
So-
anyway, dinosaur porn. Don't look it up.
Wait, so the evil dinosaur creator, the evil scientist, is played by
Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
And he is hamming it up. I can't
Oh,
tell because he doesn't
God.
have a mustache and sunglasses
No.
and that wicked jacket.
But he's doing this ridiculous. Is it a German?
that's like a
accent?
German accent, I think.
It's not
And so he
Undefined.
horrifyingly cuts out Paul Walker's head, which you see in graphic detail.
Well, this is funny because every time you could tell that it was part of the Italian X-rated version or whatever, because every time it would cut to some explicit gore, the quality would go
it'd be
shitty,
great, and everybody would speak Italian.
would start speaking Italian.
yeah.
And so his head is taken off, and they put the brain in the dinosaur.
Blood is spraying everywhere, by the way.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere.
And the character is covered in gore, and the gore remains on him until his untimely demise, when the dinosaur, who is Paul Walker, wakes up and rips his head off.
Yeah, it's so gross.
In gruesome detail.
Oh, it's so gross.
The plot of this movie is so insane that we are even saying these words.
Yeah.
Listen,
A
Jurassic
robot-
Park came out. I'm an executive, and
Yeah.
I'm like, we need a dino movie. You know what market we need to also get? Teen sex comedies, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what? I kind of feel like this movie was another script where it was a robot, like just a robot. And it was like, I want my robot to live. But what's hot right now? Dinosaurs.
Yeah, dinosaurs.
So let's make it
Like
a
someone's
dinosaur
like-
that kills people.
Someone's like, oh yeah, we're not interested. He's like, what if I made it a dinosaur? And he's like, I'm listening.
And then his eyes just turned to dollar signs.
Ron Howard, you did it again. And he like
Yeah,
takes money bags out.
No, absolutely, because it's the craziest plot ever, and it's also like a teen comedy. But as we know, the original version was also really, really violent. But it's like also like a splattery comedy, kind of.
I mean,
like it's very over the top.
It's really violent, but the gore is played almost realistically. Like it's
Yeah.
not like whoa, and like someone's guts are like flying and they're still alive for a
Yeah.
couple of
the
minutes.
people are reacting though, like not realistically.
I mean, at one point, someone's like, "Yeah, a woman got her leg ripped off."
Yeah.
The dinosaur bites a woman and grabs her by the leg.
But also, he squishes someone, and then in the morning, the woman rolls him up like a carpet.
Yeah, it's like something out of Looney Tunes.
But it's still gory as well.
Well,
Like,
because
it's still blood all over the place.
tone is so all over the
Yeah,
place.
it's like
and,
scene to scene.
Yeah, it's like it kind of veers from this wacky slapstick comedy, and then you're getting like a kind of sweet teen romance, and then this like gore, and none of it gels together, and it's just so tonally
A
inconsistent.
man
and
gets
weird.
like disemboweled by the dinosaur.
Oh yeah,
So my favorite part of this movie is the fact that the dinosaur has arms.
Oh, God,
and
that
it's
was good.
so funny because so the dinosaur is like a big robot dinosaur with little T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
But as a comedic device, it has like a guy with like gloves on.
It looks like dishwashing gloves.
Yeah, that reaches up and does like hand movements. We're first introduced to the dinosaur escaping from the lab, and then he calls Denise Richards on the phone, and he's like, "Whoa!" And then he puts the phone back, and then like reaches in for change.
You probably have to see it, but these arms they just look really funny because they're clearly human and they can go anywhere, and it's just beside this gigantic dinosaur head.
Yeah, when they actually frame it, when you see the T-Rex's actual arms on the body of the puppet are 10 feet away from his head.
He's got like Mr. Fantastic arms.
Yeah, he can stretch
He's
arms.
a robot, he can do it, you know?
But they always frame it so the arms are very cut off. You can just see, just under his chin is off screen, and then these human hands kind of come in and can manipulate
give
things.
thumbs up and like give the finger.
Yeah, it allows him to do some acting. Do you think that was really Paul Walker?
I'm
That
sure
would be
he
amazing if it
insisted.
was.
That would be awesome.
He's like method. He's
It's like,
"It's gotta
guys,
be
do
me."
I have to be inside this puppet suit all the time? It's like, shut up.
Wait, do you
giant
think
dinosaur.
Paul Walker was in the dinosaur? Like
For no reason.
Because most of the time it's just a head.
He's like nude, like Ace Ventura.
He's just sweating. No, he's got all these pulleys.
Yeah, it's a small budget. You got to put put someone in there.
And levers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in Ace Ventura.
I believe John Carl Buechler did the special effects in this movie. Yeah, he did. Because you can tell that John Carl Buechler, who's most famous for creating the Ghoulie puppets, and he directed the first Troll.
Okay.
His trademark on his creatures is they like snarl, like one side of their lip goes up, and like the dinosaur does it all the time.
All the
It's
time.
like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr."
That's really the only thing it can do.
Yeah, it can't really
Yeah.
move that
do
much.
anything.
It has
Signature move.
human eyes though.
Yeah, it has
It's
these
really
weird,
creepy.
human green eyes.
Yeah.
And these, it's
yeah.
very strange. It's so bizarre. And then Denise Richards has this like black gay sidekick.
I know that's my favorite thing.
It is?
Unless that was going to
Okay.
be your favorite. I think
All right.
his name was Byron.
I think so.
Was it Byron?
It
Yeah.
was your favorite thing? Little offensive.
Well, my favorite thing was the arms, but I gotta go. Well, yeah, it's a complete like gay, sassy best friend black stereotype.
It's the
but
same type of character that was in Mannequin.
yeah, which did Mannequin come out first? Did we find that out?
I believe Mannequin probably did come out first.
'Cause
This
it's-
came out like
that was
94.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
80s.
that was the 80s.
So Hollywood Montrose is like the same role in Mannequin, who totally steals the movie, by the way. And this guy kind of steals the movie a little bit too. I mean, he's kind of outrageous and he kind of always has a joke, but he's like a character. He's like an interesting, well-defined character, and everybody else is just weird or
Yeah, they have. He's the son of the
insane.
sheriff.
Yeah.
And they have these two deputies. I think this
God.
thing takes place in L.A.
Yeah, it
and
does.
these two deputies are so
Buck Henry?
so
Buck
old.
Flower.
Buck Flowers,
Buck
notorious.
Henry is a different guy.
Right. These two guys, they look like they're out of the Andy Griffith Show. Like they have the most southern accents, and
They
they're-
make an inappropriate gay joke about my boy
yeah,
Byron.
they're very homophobic, but they're so out of place. It's like, what tone is this movie? Like, who is this for?
It's weird that those like cops don't get killed.
Yeah, because they're always like again
Ragging
like
on the teens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're making jokes like and the inappropriate, and it's just the tone is insane.
The film
Yeah.
has a very odd structure where like we spend so much time with the bullies torturing Paul Walker,
Yeah.
and then when he comes back as the T-Rex, he instantly kills all of them.
Yeah, they're dead, and you're like, where can you go from here?
He like rips one of their heads off and like crushes it with his foot.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like more of a comedy where they're like going through the morgue and trying to find bodies for Paul Walker.
That's a very funny scene. where-
Okay, well, they go to the cemetery first.
Oh God,
Yes.
it's awful.
They go to the cemetery because Denise Richards, Byron, and the T-Rex are like, "Oh, we need to find your body to put your brain back in."
You know,
Yeah, as you would.
As you
And
would.
They crack open the coffin, and Paul Walker's body looked like Lucio Fulci designed it because it's
It looks
crawling
like-
with maggots.
it looks like the crypt keeper or the host of like Creep Show.
It's only been like a couple days.
Yeah, it's like, what kind of mortician did this? It's like horribly rotted away. His nose is rotted away.
Still bleeding.
And he has like mice running over and rats.
Oh, I
and stuff
forgot
like
that previous to that scene, the T-Rex is watching his own funeral and crying.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love how there's so many scenes where he's just like hiding behind a
He's
tree.
just in the
Like
background.
one little shrub.
He's huge. Like this, it's not like Future War. Like this or whatever it's not a puppet. What do you call it?
It's like an animatronic.
Yeah.
It's really big.
It's pretty big.
Not
yeah.
the size of an actual T-Rex,
No.
but like probably like 10 feet tall, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
surprised they actually built the thing. It can't really do much, but
No, but they just like roll it around, I bet, on wheelies. And anytime it walks, it's like some dude wearing like T-Rex feet.
clearly a guy.
Remember like when they mat it in and it's like a
Yeah, they do these
CGI?
stop motion like wide shots.
That's
They're
really
bad.
funny because it looks so
It's so
bad.
funny.
There's a shot so good of Tammy riding the T-Rex that they show it twice. Once over the rainbow-colored titles.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
rainbow like balloon font titles.
Strange choice.
And the second time, just, for us to soak in the emotion.
Oh, it's like amazing.
So we've talked about all the good stuff, Colin. So what was your favorite part?
What was my favorite part? I don't know. Okay, well, there was one gag that made me laugh a lot. It was so inappropriate and weird, but it's when they're...
I mean, if the whole movie is weird, is anything inappropriate?
Yeah,
This
that's
whole
true.
movie is
Like
weird.
everything is just inappropriate. And then so it's when they're cutting his brain out.
Yes.
The doctor is like poking Paul Walker's brain. And
Oh, yeah.
his corpse is
Now,
his legs are kicking.
This is only in the unrated version.
His legs are kicking, and then he pokes one part, and he gets a boner instantly.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, "Whoa!" And he's making his boner go around.
He's making his boner dance.
Oh
Can you
man!
imagine being on the set and like this stuff is being filmed?
No, because this is like insane, like comedy, like spoof movie comedy, like
Yeah.
scary movie.
Yeah.
Those two characters, the scientist and his busty gal, were like
I don't
from a
have-
different movie.
I don't have her name in front of me, but
Right.
she's a famous Canadian actress who's acted in Lex and has been in almost every Frank D'Angelo film.
Yeah, she played a character called Gigarata in Lex, and I actually remember her from the first
So
four
she's not
episodes.
a household name, but I bet you, like, if you saw her, you would recognize her from things.
She does a lot of video game work as well.
Oh, hey.
So
And
recognizable
Living the
voice.
dream.
Living the dream. And in the Frank D'Angelo film No Deposit that we did on this podcast, she plays the wife of Art Hindle, who's like, "Get your brother out of here!"
The shrew wife.
True.
Lots
Oh,
of
don't you mean
shrews.
every woman in Frank D'Angelo
Yeah,
films?
that's right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And the film climaxes with
The climax is all right.
It literally climaxes.
Yeah. Oh wait. First, the dinosaur is in a farm, and then the police show up, and the dinosaur disembowels Bernie,
Yeah.
and then the dinosaur is killed and falls hilariously on its side.
Yeah, it's shot to death. It's all gunned down by the police department.
Isn't it a robot?
That's what I don't understand. Every time you see it and it's blinking, you can hear like servo motors and so maybe that's just the animatronic. I don't know.
Do you think they did that like in post? Like they're like, oh, it needs to be more like a robot. Well, I mean, obviously they did. Paul Walker was in the dinosaur making those noises as they were
Yeah.
recording.
So I don't understand. I guess once you put a real brain in it, all of a sudden
Like you
becomes
cry. and
it's
stuff
organic.
Like that.
It makes no sense.
But it ends happily with Paul Walker trapped as a brain in Denise Richards' bedroom
In a jar.
in a jar, and Denise Richards does a lengthy striptease, and Paul Walker jizzes all over the place.
Yeah, he like, oh, and he explodes in like a shower of sparks. Well, after she pours him a drink and then pours like Jack Daniels over his brain.
Yeah,
like,
he's like, oh yeah, I like this. Isn't he underage? He was in high school.
yeah, what the hell? So yeah, you can tell this is the director.
Inappropriate.
And Paul Walker's like, I have no mouth, but I must scream.
Yeah, this is a living hell, like you said. He's stuck in a jar in a
Like,
bedroom.
it's nice that Denise Richards came and did like a striptease, but what did he do for like the rest of the like?
He just says.
sits there.
He just says, "I've been
Do
waiting
you
for you
think he
to
like
come
goes
home."
into like a dream world?
Well, she had to turn on the camera for him to see anything.
So like every time before then he's like, ah,
I thought she just took the lens cap off.
yeah, but it must be all black then.
So he's like just screaming all day long. And he just goes insane.
So the question at the end is, who was this movie for?
I don't know.
I mean, like, watching Mac and Me, especially that scene that I hope people know about this, but my pal Peter Kaplowski found on a Mac and Me VHS a scene where the little kid in the wheelchair gets shot on screen
By one of the
Yeah.
cops.
by one of the cops. If you haven't seen it, check it online. He was the first person to ever discover this.
That is
He
one of the
broke
funniest
the
things.
story
Yes.
on Twitter.
I hope that everyone was trying to get Paul Rudd to notice it, so he would like take it on Conan O'Brien.
I don't think you could show because the scene is a little kid in the wheelchair is rolling through a parking lot and a squib goes off and he's slumped in his chair after going, oh,
the cop
probably, sorry,
Andrew Divoff, the Wishmaster.
It's probably a rights issue that you can't bring something that hasn't been authorized.
Oh, maybe.
Like that it hasn't been released in, the United States or something on like a national television show.
But the fact that the director shot that wheelchair scene makes me think it's not out of character that he shot all of these gore scenes for Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah, maybe he was like, I'm just going to shoot it and then we'll see what happens, because it was so heavily edited. Because I think that they were like, well, this is a teen comedy, right? Like, you can't have this over-the-top insane violence. How do I sell this?
Then like sex and everything. There's one scene where the bad guy's like boning some girl.
There's like thrusting.
Is there any nudity in the film?
I don't think so.
Is.
No,
there's lots of midriffs, but
so violence is okay. Nudity, not midriff.
No.
You mean Paul Walker's midriff?
I do.
I was getting all hot and bothered when that was happening.
well, now I want to see Mannequin on the Move to see if there's like explicit gore and violence amidst like the kind of wacky comedy.
Isn't Mannequin the movie that Harvey Weinstein wrote? I believe it is. I believe it's one of the only films he has a credit on. It was one of his very early productions that he participated in. Yeah.
Poor Kim Cattrall.
It's nice that like the director of Mac and Me continued to make movies.
He's made a lot.
He made a lot of movies. He was like a go-to guy.
Well, what's his most famous movie?
Mac and Me.
Mac and Me?
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously like deranged, the stuff that he shoots.
He was the go-to guy for tonally inconsistent.
Yeah, because he wrote
mishmash.
Mac and Me as well. And I don't have it in front of me, but I would have a feeling he probably wrote Tammy and the T-Rex.
It's so weird. Like, yeah, I would think maybe it's well, again, like you say, he didn't write Mannequin, but Mannequin had a similar writing structure.
I think he did the sequel though, so I don't know, like who
maybe
was ripping
Hollywood
off who.
Montrose was in the sequel of Mannequin.
He was like the star. I think he was the only carryover from the first film.
Yeah,
I think
of the Mannequin cinematic universe.
That's right.
I've never seen any Mannequin film.
I think in the second Mannequin, it's a male mannequin.
It's possible. I don't know.
I've only seen like a video review on the first two Mannequins, and that's all I know about Mannequin.
I thought it was like a very like nostalgic favorite. They're like, I used to love watching Mannequin every day when I came back from school.
No, I watched it like for the first time 7 years ago. First one, it's enjoyable fluff. Andrew McCarthy, Kim Cattrall.
Yeah, Andrew McCarthy, who is the guy from St. Elmo's Fire.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
He was part of the Brat Pack.
The Brat Pack.
Not the Pussy Posse.
Where can you get these movies? Well, Tammy and the T-Rex, as we mentioned, is going to be released soon, and it's all its glory. And I think right now it's available on VHS. I wouldn't assume
Yeah, it's on
DVD.
YouTube. It's one of those movies. I think the uncut version, if you search on YouTube, it comes and goes. Like it's up and it's down.
It gets
and it's
taken
up and
down,
it's down.
yeah.
Tammy and the T-Rex was made by Imperial Entertainment, and they made like a bunch of Albert Pune films. They made like Nemesis. So maybe that's why it's so gory, because they wanted more of that kind of stuff. I don't know. But I'm excited for the Blu-ray to come out so I can watch it pristine.
You can see all those
it's meant to be
severed
seen.
heads.
And Future Wars, go to the dollar store. I'm sure it's there.
Yeah,
Colin has a funny story about trying to buy Future War.
Oh, well, I bought it on Amazon, and for some reason, we saw it reviewed somewhere, and I've got to buy this thing on Amazon, and then I ordered it from Germany. It was really cheap. It was like, I don't know, $4.99 or something like that. And it was like months and months, and it never came. And then the guy said, I finally contacted the guy, and he said, oh yeah, like mail theft is actually very common here in Germany. People at the post office just open packages and take stuff.
They really wanted a copy of Future War?
Yeah, I don't know. They probably
guess
didn't
it's
care what it
possible.
was. So he's like, I'll just refund your money. And then I ended up buying it somewhere else and got it.
It's on the Mystery Science Theater 3000 20th anniversary DVD, which has that, Werewolf, the classic Joe Estevez film, and a few others. And usually Mystery Science Theater 3000 have the MST3K version and the real movie as well. So you could look into that if you wanted like a real copy of Future War.
Okay. So you don't have to listen to them
No, you don't need to listen to them riff over it.
Isn't it just like an audio track you can turn on and off?
It's a whole episode because
Oh,
they're like
right.
shadows.
the silhouettes.
It
Yeah,
shows
yeah.
how much I know about Mystery Science Theater. But yeah, I would recommend Future War, definitely. I mean, we own it, so like it's good enough to own. And Tammy and the T-Rex, it's like, it's seeing is believing because it's so freaking weird.
Did it like offend your sensibilities so much?
A little bit. I didn't like it.
When the movie
But I
ended,
liked
April
it,
was like,
but
I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Because it took such a turn that it was like really boring in the middle with the whole like comedy section that was
With them
separate from the
trying to
like,
find the body for him and stuff.
I
like
don't
that.
know. I just don't know.
I would just wait for the restoration.
Yeah, wait for the restoration.
Yeah,
Totally,
I
like,
wouldn't.
if you want to see it, I think it's probably worth seeing it.
Sure, to see it
properly.
once. I don't know. I
And
wouldn't
not
watch
with
it.
scenes in Italian.
No, this is, but like Tammy and the T-Rex is a classic show your friends movie.
Yeah,
'Cause it's so crazy.
Because you see it and you're like, whoa! And the fact that it does star Denise Richards and Paul Walker.
And
Yeah.
Pedro from
Oh, yeah,
Napoleon
Pedro.
Dynamite has a cameo.
That's
as a
right,
piece
yeah.
of
And
land.
It's like a pizza delivery guy. Pedro looks exactly the same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Denise
that was
Richards
his first movie.
Yeah, Denise Richards looks very, very young, and Paul Walker, he's like a little baby.
Yeah.
Bernie looks great. He's like alive.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in other stuff other than Bernie.
Yeah, Friday the
Weekend at
13th
Bernie's,
part
right?
6, the one with the psychic.
Oh, is he like the doctor?
No, that's part 8. Yeah, he's the doctor.
Yeah, how
no,
does
wait.
he not?
No, part 6 is the
be
one that I
part
like.
7.
Part 7 is the one with Carrie. Part 8, Jason takes a boat to Vancouver.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
one before the boat, Manhattan.
No, it's part 7. All right, now that we figured that out, scintillating podcast listening.
So I have an announcement to make.
Oh my God.
We're coming up to our year anniversary of doing this podcast. Isn't that crazy, guys?
That's insane.
It's been a whole year.
wow.
We're only at like 26 episodes.
Feels like 3.
I've aged terribly.
It feels like a long time ago that we were recording the first episode
on our like
know.
Yeti mic.
Yeah, on the bad microphones. So kind of like as like a thank you to everybody who's listened to us and supported to us, we thought it would be fun to maybe do a bonus Q&A episode. So this will be an extra episode that comes out sometime near the end of the month. So you can submit questions to our email at nosuchthingasabadmovie@gmail.com, or you can tweet them at us at nosuchthingpod, or you can also send us like a private DM through Twitter, and you can ask us about anything. It doesn't have to be movie related or podcast related.
We're actually going to interact with people.
I can't guarantee we'll get to all of them, but we will try our best.
Yeah, in Canada, just thievery happens all the time on Twitter messages, so we can't promise you we'll answer your question.
Yeah, people just like open up the packages and they just
Yeah,
they steal the
your
tweets.
sweet question.
Sweet question before it's
Yeah.
delivered.
And also, we'll have a couple of bonus questions just for the Patreon subscribers who are subscribed at the $5 level. So we'll have some extra special content for you guys on there.
Ooh.
And I just wanted to say thank you, everybody who's listened to us since the beginning. And, you know, we've gained some followers along the way, but thank you for listening to us and enjoying what we put out there, because this is something that I really, really enjoy doing and would like to continue doing in the future.
And we can't do it without your sweet cash.
No,
your
We're not friends anymore. We hate each other.
just your listenership is enough.
Wait, what are we doing this week on the Patreon?
So next week on the Patreon, we did an episode on the new Predator movie, otherwise known as The Predator.
A film I forgot existed until we recorded the episode.
I think a lot of us forgot about.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that out.
Remember there was a movie called Predators, guys? Adrian Brody?
Nobody remembers that one.
I
The guy
forgot.
from that 70s show was in it?
Yo, and it was directed by Robert Rodriguez,
I like it here. It was not directed by
I know.
Nimrod Antal.
who actually directed Machete.
Nimrod.
Yeah, Nimrod.
No, Nimrod didn't direct Machete.
Okay, cut that bit out of the podcast.
No, keep it in.
Also, if you want to tweet at me, I'm at April Atmansky.
You can tweet at me or follow me for my deep thoughts and gifs of Sammo Hung giving thumbs up. I'm at Decloux, DECLOUX, and the letter J. You can follow me on Letterboxd at just the username Justin Decloux, or listen to my podcast, The Important Cinema Club, at importantcinemaclubpodcast.com.
And you can follow me at Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA, on Twitter.
Colin has to look at his Twitter handle every time. He cannot remember what it is.
It's true. Start saying Sergeant Zima and
No,
let them figure it out.
I was always Sergeant Zim, and then that was taken, so I had to go Sergeant Zima. Sergeant,
Zima like a drink?
yeah,
He loves Zima.
I love Zima.
Do you love Zima?
I do. I love it.
You can't get it in Canada.
Was it something that you had to start loving when you took that Twitter handle? You're like, listen, it's my brand now.
Well, I'm gonna have to give it a go.
You keep drinking it.
just forcing it
Like
down.
cigarettes.
Well, you know what? I tried Zima when we were in the States. I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, whatever.
Ooh, controversy.
It tastes
Zima's
like Smirnoff Ice.
Zima's one of those drinks that it actually tastes better when it's warmer.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but it's true.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's like it's kind of sweet, but kind of not sweet.
I thought
don't
it was
know.
like a pop. Is it like an alcoholic drink?
It is kind of like
it's a malt
soda.
beverage. It's tasty, a delicious
I
malt
want to try
beverage.
some now.
You've
Well, the
had
thing is, we got
Smirnoff Ice,
we
though,
got all
right?
the ads up here in Canada back in the '90s, but we never got Zima. So my first trip to LA, my friends and I bought Zima, and we were just in love. we were obsessed with this drink, and then we went down to the States a few years ago, and they're releasing it every summer, once a year, for a limited run.
The sweetest of forbidden fruits.
Oh my God!
Zima.
I almost
Zima.
cried. We were in Milwaukee and we were at a liquor store, and I just turned a corner and they had this big display, like 15
big
feet tall.
sign.
It was like Zima.
Does it have like a 15% alcohol content?
No, it's like a beer.
Oh, okay.
So
like-
what, like 5?
It's like 4.5, 5. Something
well,
like
a
that.
beer in the States is less than a beer here.
Because we're robust lumberjacks.
Yeah, of
a
course.
beer here it's like 5 or 6.
No, it's not
percent.
6.
Yeah.
No.
Oh well, clearly
Again, electrifying podcast.
you've been
action.
listening to Beverage Pod. You should just talk.
Zima-cast.
You should hear the Patreon episodes.
We should just talk about like what alcoholic beverages we like to drink.
Cider. I'm a cider man myself.
There you go.
That's it. Don't drink anything else.
I've been into wine a lot.
Really?
I got
Yeah.
Colin into wine, and I like beer too.
I never drank wine.
What do you like? Do you like the white? Do you like the red? Do you like
I'm
a
actually,
rosé?
you know what? I love rosé.
Started off with sparkling.
I love sparkling.
and then you
and-
kind of went rosé, white, and now you drink red wine.
Yeah, which
Wine
is
tastes gross.
I used to think so too.
You
know.
know what? Maybe I'll start smoking and drinking coffee as
And
well.
Zima.
And Zima.
Try
oh,
some
I
Zima.
definitely want Zima. I'm gonna go to bed tonight just dreaming of Zima.
Yeah, well, when I took the Sergeant Zima name, I had to start drinking Zima, and I had to enlist in the military to become a sergeant. I'm working my way up.
All right, Dino fans, that's it for this week's episode. I have been April Atmansky.
I was just at the clue. You have been? Who are you
Not going to be
now?
anymore.
I am Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.